Louisville's Cassian Pryor sent a message to the Wildcats. Is he crazy or weird? Let's see the updates. But subscribe to the channel to receive more news. The rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville has always been more than just a game. It's pride, tradition, and often declared war. And now, after the fiery words of Louisville's forward, Cassian Pryor, the rivalry has gained a new chapter. Even after the Cardinals' victory over Jackson State, Pryor couldn't resist the temptation to taunt. See you Tuesday, after a win. And he said something unkind. The arrogant phrase was a kind of fuel Mark Pope and his players didn't need, but they certainly will use. The Kentucky coach, who has been building a focused, intense, and intelligent team, knows how to turn insults into motivation. And believe me, this team will take to the court at the KFC Center with blood in their eyes. Pope preaches control and maturity. But no one doubts that, internally, the Wildcats are already ready to respond in the way that matters most, by winning. Cassian Pryor may think he embodies the provocative spirit of the Classic, but his words sounded more like desperation than confidence. He scored only 6 points and made 3 of 8 shots against a modest opponent. Now, he will have to face a team that is completely different in energy, talent, and mentality. The Wildcats are currently ranked number 9 in the country for a reason. Pope has built a team that the team combines the strength of the paint with a sharp perimeter and a suffocating defense. And if anyone symbolizes the spirit of this team, it's point guard Chandler. The Kentucky kid has been growing with each game, showing confidence, leadership, and ball control that puts the pace of the game in the hands of the Big Blue. Chandler is a type of player who feels the weight of the rivalry and transforms it into fuel. Against Louisville, expect his best version, aggressive, intelligent, and ready to silence the rival arena. He represents exactly what Pope wants to see from his players, intensity and a winning mentality. On Louisville's side, the situation is different. The team is still trying to find its footing under pressure, and although individual talent exists, consistency is lacking. Pryor's statement, instead of intimidating, only reinforces the difference between the programs. Kentucky is now a disciplined and united group. Louisville, a team still trying to prove it can compete at this level. And Mark Pope, with a serene but determined style, certainly won't let ego get in the way of execution. Tuesday's game promises an electrifying atmosphere, a packed gymnasium, and an emotional charge befitting the history of the rivalry. But the difference lies in the preparation. Kentucky arrives more mature, more balanced, and with a rotation capable of responding to any scenario. Pope knows that the path to victory involves containing emotion and letting basketball speak louder, and in that, his players have been exemplary. When the ball goes up at the KFC Center, Pryor's words will echo as a reminder, not for Kentucky, but for himself. Because what awaits him is a ready team, trained and led by a coach who understands the weight of this game like few others. With Chandler commanding the pace, the defense adjusted and the focus at its limit, it's difficult to imagine any outcome other than a victory for Pope and the Wildcats. We'll see it up close. There's something deeply comforting about hearing Mark Pope's words about Cam Williams, even in the face of what could be described as an unstable start to the season for the young forward. He's going to be a fantastic player. This isn't a casual statement, nor is it an empty declaration from a coach trying to calm the nerves of anxious fans. It's, in fact, a clear and well-founded vision from someone who knows exactly what he's seeing. A raw but promising talent, slowly molding itself to the DNA of Kentucky basketball. And if there's one thing that defines Pope's work in these first few months leading the Wildcats, it's his ability to see beyond the immediate statistics and identify the latent potential of his players. Cam Williams arrived in Lexington with an intriguing background. After a solid season at Tulane, where he proved to be more than just an athletic player, but also a competent and versatile shooter, he brought considerable expectations with him. His numbers in New Orleans were respectable: 9.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 1.3 assists per game, with an impressive 48.5% field goal percentage and 41.2% three-point percentage. These numbers not only caught Kentucky's attention, but also put Williams on the radar of those closely following the development of college players with NBA prospects. However, the leap from Tulane to Kentucky is not something to be underestimated. The difference between the two programs is abysmal, both in terms of exposure and level of competition. And Williams, like any freshman arriving at a program of this caliber, is facing the inevitable adaptation process. The initial difficulties are evident. In his debut against Nicholls State, Williams played 18 minutes, but his contributions were limited. Only 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist, with modest 1-3 field goal percentage. In preseason games, the situation wasn't much different. Against Purdue, he scored 6 points, but converted only 2 of 6 field goal attempts. Against Georgetown, the performance was even more challenging. No points scored, with 5 missed field goals and 2 failed free throw attempts. For many, these numbers might seem worrying, especially when it comes to a player with such high expectations. But Pope, with his experience and insight, sees something that cold numbers can't capture: the process of building. I don't know if it's playing at this level. Pope explained during his press conference, "It's that our players are figuring each other out, and that's going to happen with every team in the country. There's a process of trying to figure out how you feel, where you fit in, how you function, and what works." These words reflect a deep understanding of what it means to integrate into a new and competitive roster like Kentucky's. College basketball isn't just about individual skills. It's about finding your role within a complex system, adjusting to group dynamics, and learning to thrive under constant pressure. Williams, like any other player transferred to a top-level program, is facing this learning curve. But what makes Williams so special in Pope's eyes? Perhaps it's his unique combination of athleticism, versatility, and shooting ability. At 6 feet 2 inches, he has the ideal physique to play as a small forward on an NCAA team, but he also demonstrates the ability to adapt to different roles within the offensive scheme. His accuracy from three-point shots, something already proven at Tulane, is a valuable asset on a team that seeks spacing and creativity on offense. Furthermore, his physical presence allows him to contribute significantly in the paint, whether on defensive rebounds or even crucial saves. It's characteristics like these that make Pope so confident in his future. The Kentucky coach knows that the current moment is just a transition phase. Williams is trying to understand how to fit into a roster full of talent, each player seeking their place and identity within the team. This process can be painful at times, but it's absolutely necessary for individual and collective growth. And while Williams struggles to find his rhythm, Pope is there to guide him, offering not only technical instruction, but also emotional and mental support. It's this combination of strategic leadership and human empathy that makes Pope such a respected coach. It's a process to be built. Jaden Quaintance's recovery is one of those chapters that reinforces the idea that college sports aren't just about wins and losses, but also about overcoming adversity, resilience, and the triumph of the human spirit. The forward transferred from Arizona State, whose arrival in Kentucky had already generated enormous expectations before his injury, is slowly but relentlessly paving his way back to the court. And if Coach Mark Pope's words are any indication, Quaintance's return may be sooner and more impactful than many anticipated. When a player suffers an injury as serious as a torn ACL, the recovery process is usually long, painful, and full of uncertainty. However, from the beginning, Quaintance has demonstrated something that goes beyond physical talent, an unwavering mentality. His journey has been marked by small but significant milestones, each one a step towards full rehabilitation. Now, he's reaching a new level by participating in 5-on-0 drills, a clear sign that his body is responding well to the rigors of high-level basketball. These non-contact exercises are crucial, allowing him to develop confidence in his mobility while avoiding unnecessary risks. Seeing a player of his stature, 2.09 meters of pure athletic energy, running around the court and executing complex movements is, in Pope's words, unbelievable. Pope's optimism isn't just rhetoric. It's based on concrete data. The asymmetry between his injured and healthy leg, one of the main indicators of physical readiness, is almost imperceptible in Quaintance's case. This seemingly simple technical detail carries enormous weight in the context of recovery. When a player returns from an injury of this magnitude, the minimal difference in performance between the two legs can be the dividing line between success and the risk of relapse. Quaintance, however, seems to be overcoming these barriers with impressive speed. The next strength test, scheduled for 3 weeks from now, will be the deciding factor in assessing his ability to advance to the next stage, specific work to regain competitive playing rhythm. And herein lies the brilliance of the process conducted by the professionals involved. It's not just about getting Quaintance back on the court. It's about ensuring he returns with the same intensity and efficiency that made him one of the most promising players of his generation. The meticulousness with which the medical team and coaches are handling his recovery reflects the Kentucky program's commitment to its athletes. For BBN, this attention to detail is music to their ears. They know that Quaintance is not just another player. He is a true change agent, someone capable of transforming the team's defensive and offensive dynamics with his versatile and dominant presence. But what makes Quaintance so special? Beyond his evident physical abilities, he brings with him a work ethic that inspires those around him. Pope mentioned how impressed he was watching him participate in transition drills, running around the court with fluidity that seems to defy the very logic of the injury he faced. It's as if he's rewriting the rules of what's possible in sports recovery. And perhaps that's exactly what he's doing. He's not just a player returning from surgery. He's a living example of how the combination of talent, discipline, and proper support can create something extraordinary. For Kentucky fans, the anticipation grows with each update. The idea of having Quaintance back on the court, wearing the Wildcats jersey, is a dream rapidly approaching reality. He has the potential to be a difference maker, not only this season, but also in terms of legacy. Players like him, who overcome monumental adversity to return even stronger, leave indelible marks on the programs they represent. And if his trajectory so far is any indication, his contribution to Kentucky will be remembered for a long time. Currently, there are still steps to be completed before Quaintance is clear to play in official games, but the progress he's been showing is undeniable. Every run, every jump, and every transition exercise brings him closer to his ultimate goal, to get back to doing what he does best. When that happens, Kentucky won't just be gaining a player. It will be gaining a powerful weapon, capable of changing the course of games and possibly entire seasons. Until then, patience is key. After all, great comebacks require time and care. But based on what we're seeing, it's worth every second of the wait. I want to hear your opinion now.